Alright, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another collaboration beer. This time between the Fat Orange Cat Brew Company, and they are a nomadic brewery that brews out of the 12% Beer Project location in North Haven, Connecticut, and Decadent Ales, and they are out of Mamaroneck, New York, and this is their Baker's Dozen Maple. So this is an Imperial Stout with chili peppers, chocolate, cinnamon, vanilla, and maple syrup. It comes in at 13% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review. And this can is just over 6 months old. I want to give a huge thanks. Shout out once again to a very good friend of mine and a viewer of the channel, Steven, for this beer. So big thanks to him. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies that Steven sent my way. And he sent me a lot of cool sounding beer, and this is one of them, and I'm here for it. So collaboration between Fat Orange Cat and Decadent, and it's a big, technically like Mexican Imperial Stout with the addition of maple. Apparently they did a prior release called Baker's Dozen years back that did not have the maple, and a lot of people love that one, so they put out a new variant and included maple syrup. So I'm really excited about this one. I'm going to crack this one open to get in the glass, see what we got going on. Now, this one is a bit older, so hopefully adjuncts have held up. It wasn't Steven's fault, it was my fault. Steven sent me this beer. It was just under 3 months old. However, it is a 13% huge Imperial Stout in a can, 16 fluid ounces. I got to be in the right mindset nowadays to drink it, and I am tonight. So I hope everything held up well. We will see. I did see the review from the FLX boys, Dan and Mike. They did it as I think it was a Wildcard Wednesday. And then I believe, I'm not 100% positive, but I believe he also sent this. No, I am 100% positive. What the hell am I talking? He sent this to Kyle over at No Hype Beer Reviews, and he reviewed it. I did not check out his review because I didn't want to be influenced, although I did watch the FLX's review because I didn't know what it was, watching a mystery review. So this is out of my darker beer fridge. I put it in there yesterday, 54 degrees Fahrenheit, so hopefully it's warm enough where I can pick up a lot of the characteristics. So this has alcohol legs. I would call them sheets. They are just kind of, again, on camera, I don't know if it's going to come off. Sometimes it does, but it's coating the side of the glass. Has about a 3/4 of a finger of this dark brown, almost mocha-colored head. This is pitch black in the glass. Hold up to the light. Yeah, it's pitch black. You can't see anything through it. That plays the role. Now, if we're talking about, a huge Imperial Stout at 13% with all those adjuncts, that looks beautiful. And the fact that the head's hanging around with all those adjuncts is pretty fantastic. Now, I love Mexican Imperial Stouts, from your Westbrook's Mexican Cake to like Perennials, Abraxas, Stone's Chocoveza, all of them. I love them. So I'm thinking I'm going to enjoy this, but I don't know if I've ever had one with like the addition of maple. So we'll see. Anyway, that's a good nose. That smells real nice. a lot of people are not going to want to hear what I'm about to say, but this off of the nose reminds me of a like an Imperial Pumpkin Stout. Yeah, I said it. I think it's mostly the cinnamon and vanilla, because a lot of times with pumpkin beers in general, they use their pumpkin spices, and cinnamon is one of those. But a lot of times they'll have vanilla in here, and between the stout and then the cinnamon and the vanilla, definitely give me pumpkin vibes, 100%. There is no pumpkin in here, obviously, not brewed with any pumpkin, but the spices and definitely smells like a pumpkin stout. But then I get a little bit of like, the chili peppers are coming through as like an earthy, kind of peppery kind of note. It doesn't smell like it's going to be spicy. It's just kind of earthy. Like a mole as well with that chocolate. Now, a lot of times, this doesn't have coffee in it, but a lot of times the Mexican Imperial Stouts will have coffee as well. But anyway, this just smells, this is what I'll say. Roasted malt, there's chocolate, big on the cinnamon and vanilla. Again, a little bit of that like pumpkin spice kind of vibe to it. The peppers are more earthy than anything else. You get the actual characteristic of the pepper as the flavor and not the heat in the nose, like you're just smelling like an earthy kind of chili pepper. I'm not getting the maple. And maple, again, this is just over 6 months old. The maple's starting to probably fade. And I've had maple beers 2 or 3 months old start to fade. Maple's so weird. Sometimes I've had like 2 or 3 year old maple beers that like the maple's prominent. It all depends, I guess. But it does smell sweet, roasty. It smells nice. It doesn't smell amazing, but it smells nice. So anyway, let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again to Steven. That's really nice. Oh. Ooh. Oh, there's the chili peppers. I don't know what chili peppers you're using. I would not be surprised if it's habanero or something similar to that. It went right for the back of the throat. So On the actual palate, I'm not getting a lot of like heat or anything from the pepper. It just hit me in the back of the throat, like instantaneous. That was kind of wild. Go back for another sip. So the body's nice. Lower side of full into like medium full. Oh man, each sip, I like it. The peppers are bringing the heat. But it's not like super thick and viscous, but it's definitely big enough to say, hey, this is definitely a huge Imperial Stout. But it's not like bogging down the palate. It's not too much on the palate. A lot of times when a beer is super like syrupy and viscous, like it's just I won't say it's a chore to drink because that sounds bad and like negative, but sometimes it weighs down the beer to some degree when every single sip is like, you know, it's just you have to like prepare mentally for it. I know how stupid that sounds. I'm just reviewing beer. I'm just drinking beer. You know, might be a little bit of an exaggeration there, but you know what I'm saying. But I do like the body. The mouthfeel, it's pretty solid as well. Mild to moderately carbonated, but there is a smooth creaminess on the palate. Really nice. So body's appropriate, and I think the mouthfeel is as well. Really nice. The taste, though. I'm trying to think how I attack this one in terms of how I relay what I'm thinking, because there's a lot going on. This is a very complex beer. We'll start right at the forefront because there's a lot of chocolate up front. The forefront is a mixture of roasted malt, sweet dark chocolate. That's what I'd say. Like roasted malt, sweet dark chocolate, 100%. Then after that, I do get a little bit like a coffee. No coffee in here, but a little bit of coffee. And as it starts to move through the palate, the first thing that I notice on the palate, 100%, is the cinnamon and the vanilla. And it's like intertwining, again, a little bit of pumpkin vibes to this one in the taste. It's mixing in with the chocolate. I'm getting a little bit of mole vibes because as it continues, the chili peppers hit on the back of the palate. And on the back of the palate, the chili peppers that hit are definitely spicy, but it's not overbearing. Like I've taken what, like 4 or 5 sips now, and it's not building, which is nice. But every time I go back, I forget about the peppers, and then all of a sudden, boom, back of the throat. There it is. It lingers for maybe 5, 10, 15 seconds and then dissipates. If you're going to put chili peppers in a beer, I want to taste them, and I'm tasting them. So kudos to Fat Orange Cat and Decadent for nailing the pepper vibe in here. And I would say it's probably like a habanero, something in that realm. Maybe jalapeno. I would think more habanero than anything. It's probably something completely different, but it's in that realm where like it hits the back of the throat. This finishes with a nice semi to full on dry kind of finish. Mild bitterness. This is sweet, but there is so much going on with all those adjuncts that this is not like cloying. It's not even, I mean, it's a pastry-esque beer, but it's not over the top. The finish is dry. That pepper kind of, it has like a, if you ever had like a hot sauce that has like that drying kind of spiciness, that's kind of what I'm getting on the palate on the finish. And it's really balancing this out to some degree, where without that, I think this might be a little bit too much. So of the adjuncts, the peppers, definitely. The chocolate, 100%. Cinnamon, vanilla, yes. Here's the problem. Maple syrup, I do not taste it. I do not taste maple syrup in here. There is a pronounced sweetness that could be faded maple, but I couldn't say for sure. And if I was doing this blind, I would not say it's maple. I really dig this one. But now I'm curious to know what the old release without the maple would be like. What is missing? What's the difference? I don't know. But I really do enjoy this one. This is a lot of fun. And again, the legs are fantastic. Well, another sip and lock it in. 13%. I don't know when you're going to see them in terms of like when I'm going to post them. But in the last couple of days, I reviewed from Other Half, their FLX 5th anniversary double dry hop triple IPA. And in that, I was like, it hides the alcohol extremely well. Like, you know, you can tell it's a big beer from everything going on except for the noticeable alcohol because it doesn't have noticeable alcohol. Same thing here. Like, there's a warming in my chest, sure. But on the palate, there's no astringency. There's so many adjuncts and that pepper spiciness and everything. Like, I'm drinking and I'm just not sitting there and going, oh man, it's super boozy. It's not. It's really not. And it's 13%. That's fucking insanely scary. So here's how I'm going to wrap this one up. Despite being called Baker's Dozen Maple, there isn't really any maple character for me. And it could be my fault because it is over 6 months old. However, the rest of the adjuncts held up, so it just might be an unfortunate thing with maple. That said, it's pretty damn good. The body and mouthfeel are appropriate. Hides the alcohol well. It's not cloying. I think I get most of the adjuncts outside of the maple syrup. It's not a, it's a cohesive beer. It's not disjointed. It's a pretty fucking good beer. I'm going to sit down and drink the rest of this one and not question why I'm doing so. And I think when you can do that with a big, burly beer like this, it's a win. So it's not like my favorite adjuncted, Imperial Stout, or even if you want to get Mexican Imperial Stout, but it's fucking pretty good. And I think that's kind of where this one lands. So Baker's Dozen Maple, collab between Fat Orange Cat and Decadent. I'm going to go high 4.25 and go 4.3 out of 5. I think this is really fucking tasty. And probably won't see any of this hanging out on the shelves if you do get Fat Orange Cat or Decadent beers. But if you do, give it a go. Just be forewarned that the maple is really not, hanging out anymore, which I think a lot of you probably realize anyway. When I review these beers and they're like 5, 6, 7 months old, like a lot of, sometimes the adjuncts fall off or they're not as intense. And again, it's my fault. Wasn't Steven's fault at all. I could have drank this right away, but again, it's a big beer and I needed to take my time. I'm sure a lot of you don't even know that I had open heart surgery, replaced my aortic valve back in 2021. But since then, typically drink 1 beer a day, sometimes 2 if they're low ABV. And to drink something like this, I got to be ready. I got to A, have the allocated calories. I got to B, make sure that's not going to fuck up anything going on with the medication stuff I'm taking. So I'm right in that wheelhouse right now where it's like, okay, I can take this one down. But, 2 weeks ago I couldn't, type of thing. You know what I mean? So I apologize to Steven for, waiting as long as I did, but I finally was able to give it a go, and I really like it, but I'm curious about the other OG release. Price point availability, I have no idea, so Steven or anybody else out there, let me know what you paid for it. I don't know if it came in 4-packs or single cans, but, I see Fat Orange Cat stuff occasionally, but I'm not even going to guess. I just hope it's, reasonably priced, and same thing with the availability. If you see Fat Orange Cat stuff, you might see this one, you might not. I don't know if this made it outside of, like, the Connecticut area. Again, they're Nomadic Brewery brews in North Haven, Connecticut. They had their own brewery or like tap room. I think they closed that up and now just pretty much distribute stuff, but I don't know. Anyway, thanks to Steven for this beer. If you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. I'm going to go drink the rest of that and enjoy the rest of my night. To the next one. Cheers.